All right. Hello, everyone, and now welcome to a game. This game is going to be between Yumiko and Sok, taking place here on Eversong. This isn't all the random, as Sok has spawned as, well, the blue night elf on the top left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, over here on the bottom right, we have Yumiko spawning as, well, another night elf. So night elf versus night elf mirror match should be a great game. Eversong, all the random. Well, I am going to be casting, I believe this is my first ever song, all the random game as well, so don't know quite what's in store, but know it's going to be a good game of WarCraft 3. I think that's one of the things that I like about WarCraft 3, or these all the random games, are I'm kind of like learning and experiencing the game with you and with the players as well. Let's go ahead and get to that 2-minute mark. Really don't know what the player is going to try and do until a hero is chosen out on the battlefield for them on both sides. And the heroes are going to be Demon Hunter versus Dreadlord. Alright, Dreadlord hasn't gone for any ability just quite yet. You can see a couple of giant skeletal warriors dealing damage to this Ancient of War here. Damage being done. Gloves of Haste, is he going to pick it up? Yes, of course he will. Meanwhile, Demon Hunter, no stranger to this particular style of opening. Alright, so Sok getting well, a more traditional hero. We'll see how this plays out. Demon Hunter versus Dreadlord. Dreadlord could go for some sleeps. Always a possibility. Carrion Swarm as well. Vampiric Aura, just really not that useful when you think about it in terms of the overall overall game. Because there really isn't that much to do unless you go into the this is an interesting thought. If Yumiko does get into tier 3, we could end up seeing that very, very classic vampiric aura, on bears. Normally, Night Elf versus Night Elf, you do see a bit of bears, but if you have vampiric aura on those bears, traditionally you see it more in terms of more in terms of Thorn's aura, but Vampiric aura could actually work out fairly well. Alright, there's a little bit of damage there. Yumiko's Ancient of War cannot get Vampiric aura, and well, in comes the Dreadlord. Dreadlord's going to be able to get in a little bit of healing here. Demon Hunter may be trying to make its way back over. There's going to be some exchanges again, and that Dreadlord up to 560 hit points again. There's another mana burn. Archer trying to make its way over. We're going to see some more damage ripped on through once more. Alright, Dreadlord looking to retreat back. Demon Hunter may get another mana burn here. Archers are showing up, and, well, a little bit of an odd exchange, right? Both sides are just exchanging back and forth. Dreadlord, is he going to pick up Boots of Speed? Yes, he is. The Dreadlord also being able to, well, dance a jig, be on the move with those Boots of Speed, as well as the Ancient of War. Well, trying to get the Sentinel upgrade. Archer, is she going to Shadow Meld? Yes, she will. There's a Dust of Appearance. And the Demon Hunter trying to go after this Archer right here. And are we going to see the pathing? Archer about to get taken down. The Demon Hunter's auto attack is just that stinking fast that the Dreadlord has no time to get in front of the Demon Hunter, even though the Dreadlord also has a pair of Boots of Speed of his own. So yeah, little bit of animation right there. You can see there's that second there's a second Ancient of War to try and train things up. Demon Hunter not being able to do much. The Sentinels should be able, Huntress should be able to throw up those Sentinels, gain night vision strategically, as there are a couple of Wisp out there across the map as well. Tech to tier 2 nearly done on both sides. Meanwhile, Demon Hunter trying to go after or run away from this one Dreadlord. Now remember, Huntresses are not going to be benefiting from that Vampiric aura. It is technically a ranged unit, albeit a very, very small range. 225 right there. There's a Sentinel Scout to try and keep track of everything here, as this Ancient of War is still taking quite a bit of damage. Ancient of War may want to uproot itself and try to eat a couple of trees here. Meanwhile, we're looking at some damage coming back across. There's a little Sentinel Scout making sure that the Demon Hunters is not going to be running around from the back again. Alright. Quickly cleaning up some stuff. Dreadlord, Cloak of Shadows, could have picked it up. Decides not to. Now, we are at Tree of Ages, already going into Tree of Eternity. There's this dual tech to tier, or to dual Ancient of Lores tier 3. It may end up being bears. So Vampiric Aura bears, yeah, this could really be a thing here. We are looking at Tree of Ages. We are getting up an Ancient of Wonders, and this is a very different strategy coming across from Yumiko. Yumiko opting to go for a Huntress is gonna be getting up that fortified armor, or yeah, the heavy armor, and that heavy armor will greatly reduce obviously the piercing damage here. Meanwhile, Rogue, a little bit of glaive bounce damage as well. You can see that glaive bounce damage does hit pretty hard because it is normal damage here as that Rogue Wizard gets taken down too. Dreadlord has dual gloves of haste. Are we getting up a second hero? No, we are not. We are taking the tier 3 as well, as the Ancients of Lore are nearly done, most likely trying to train up Adept, then Mastery training while cranking out some of those Druids of the Claw. Demon Hunter, well, I'm gonna get to level 3, no problem. Dreadlord sitting at 2.7 as well. There's that Naga Sea Witch as that second hero. And I gotta say, Sock, unless I told you, you would not know that this is an all-random game coming in from Sock. Demon Hunter first, Naga Sea Witch second. The only thing that looks strange is the Dreadlord leading the charge for the Night Elf army of Yumiko. Now, Dreadlord could easily clear out some of this creep camp here. We're looking at some, well, the Voidwalker taking some damage as well. Ancient of War still absorbing quite a bit. There's level 3 on that Dreadlord, and the Demon Hunter going to come across, perhaps try to get a big mana burn. Where's that mana burn? There's that Carrion Swarm whipping through. The Demon Hunter gets taken down, or Ancient of War gets taken down as the Dreadlord trying to back away. This is a tough spot for the Dreadlord to be in. Going to be forced to use the Scroll of Town Portal to head back. Now, back at home, a couple of Huntresses should be able to chase down this Wisp without a problem. Still no sign of additional heroes. We are getting Druids of the Claw. We are taking the Tree of Eternity. That is nearly done. Meanwhile, we are going to be getting, oh, Dryads first. All right, so interesting call, going to Dryads first. Meanwhile, the Dreadlord cleaning up the remainder of these Murlocs, but there is still a level 6 Murloc here, and in comes the Illusion. There's another mana burn on the Dreadlord. That's going to be a very, very bad day for the Dreadlord. Dreadlord wants to finish off some of those targets. Dryads able to focus those things down, or focus down those Huntresses. So yes, cold arrows coupled with slow poison, even with heavy armor, still getting focused down by the Dryads and the Archers. Meanwhile, there's this level 6 creep here that can get cleaned up and finished off by Sock. Sock is just kind of playing with Yumiko at this point, as the Dreadlord going to be able to get back in this Moonwell range here, perhaps get a rejuvenation from the Druid of the Claw here, as the Dryads are now picking apart some of the Huntresses that are out here on the battlefield still. All right, this is an awfully weird spot to be in. Demon Hunter coming back around. Are we going to see another mana burn? There's a Staff of Preservation for a save onto a Dryad. Mana burn onto the Druid of the Claw. Druid of the Claw down to 345 hit points. It needs to find its way into Mastery form here momentarily, as Sock is just pummeling Yumiko inside his own base, keeping him contained, and perhaps another Ancient of War about to get taken down. All right, Ancient of War down to 113 hit points. Looks like it's going to, well, be able to at least root itself and stay alive. Yumiko knowing that he wants to keep this Ancient of War alive and well. Let's see off over here. Yep, the level 6 Murloc is still there, and the Demon Hunter is going to back up. Dreadlord could get to level 4 pretty quickly here. Druids of the Claw do see Mastery training. Well, I'm doing fairly well, thanks for asking. Looking at, well, this Murloc here. Well, a little bit of poison spread across all of these units. Dreadlord may be able to get to level 4. Yes, it does. So does get to level 4, does have an Orb of Venom, doesn't pick up the Sentry Wards. Alright, so a handful of items, Cloak of Shadows and Sentry Wards, not picked up by the Dreadlord. Dreadlord actually looking to see if it can get to level, well, get even higher in terms of level, as we're looking at well, a Chain Lightning bouncing across all of those targets. There's a rejuvenation on that Fell Ravager. Well, it looked like it was getting healed a little bit. Now Frost Armor, finally, but, well, another Chain Lightning bouncing around there, and we're going to see, well, War Song, Battle Drums, Kodo Beast, Aura for the Dreadlord, as the Druids of the Claw, well, able to finish off some of these Blood Fiends and other units. Meanwhile, all right, knocking down the gate. That's going to get taken out easily. Druids of the Claw into that Druid form. Well, should be transformed into that fighting form here in just a moment, or is it just trying to get as much mana as possible? Oh, all right, so Sock keeping the druids in their caster form so that they can perhaps get more rejuvenations. And well, perhaps not really worth trying to go in and out of that combat form as much. Meanwhile, Druid of the Claw here going to take down the Sasquatch and now continue to attack here. How much does... Yeah, so that Sasquatch is, or the Druid of the Claw, healing about 12 damage per attack right now. Add in Roar, add in that Warsong Battle Drums, and that does add up pretty quick. Are we looking at level 3 Vampiric Aura? We are. Alright, so level 3 Vampiric Aura, that is going to be some major heals for these Druids of the Claw, and that was one particular strategy. Now the only thing to perhaps try and add is if you can somehow guarantee a Keeper of the Grove and go Thorns Aura, you would definitely always win a bear on bear battle. Alright, Wisp trying to make its way through. It's going to end up getting detonation on those Druids of the Claw there. Plus 12 damage on these Druids here. And we do see Roar. In comes a Staff of Preservation. There's a Mana Burn onto that Dreadlord first. And in comes the rest of the remaining units. Alright, there's going to be some damage. There's a Rejuvenation. Both sides continuing to fight. Rejuvenation onto the Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter, well, trying to push his way back through. This one Druid of the Claw down to 500 hit points. And who's going to get taken down there? Wow. The Druid of the Claw is completely surrounding the Demon Hunter, even with Moonwell support, not looking too strong. We're looking at Yumiko now, pushing back the other way. Is he going to be able to save any of his own Druids of the Claw? No, well, there is a Staff of Preservation. He's not going to get saved out of there, as both sides are losing quite a bit of units. 1,200 gold compared to 600 here. Druid of the Claw trying to retreat back. That Druid of the Claw going to go after the attack again. We can see the cold arrows being so incredibly effective as Sok is continuing to chase down Yumiko's units. Alright, there goes another one of Yumiko's units. So Demon Hunter lost, but at what cost? 48 supply now compared to 45. Both sides continuing to battle it up here as Yumiko still has plus 17 damage. Perhaps going to try to go for a carry-on swarm or do something else here as Yumiko is still putting in pressure. 45 supply. Demon Hunter nearly resurrected. We're looking at more damage. Druids of the Claw now making their way back across here. We're looking at, well, carry-on swarm. Wow, a whole bunch of Wisp lost there as the Dreadlord getting that much closer to level 6. All right, there's a Rejuvenation on, or a Rejuvenation and Moonwell here. Staff of Preservation trying to save some of those units again. Dreadlord for Yumiko should be okay, and now we're going to see perhaps a Rejuvenation go onto that Druid of the Claw as well as he goes in and out of combat form. Yumiko going to try to get a heal onto that Druid of the Claw, down to 40 hit points. Wow, body blocking, and somehow, well, slow poison, Rejuvenation, and now this Druid of the Claw going to have a little bit of a bad day too. Dreadlord trying to finish off some more of those units again. Are we going to see a big carry-on swarm rip on through across all of these units? There it goes, and now the Naga Sea Witch down to 149 hit points, down to 100 hit points. Slow poison, or that damage over time. Rejuvenation trying to, or excuse me, Moonwell's trying to keep it alive, but all of those Moonwells are pretty much bone dry except for some of them in the back. We are looking at Chimeras trying to get trained up here, so this is a lot of bear on bear fighting as we see Fork Lightning taking down one Druid of the Claw again. Demon Hunter now back online, coming across from the other side. It's still dancing around the far side here. Demon Hunter may be able to get off another Mana Burn. This Druid of the Claw trying to go after this Dryad, even the, well, Ancients coming in to battle it up here as this Druid of the Claw now going to be in trouble. There's a Staff of Preservation for the save. All right, we're still more Staff of Preservation coming back across. Again, Yumiko getting in a little bit of heals, and these bears just constantly battling it up here. Who's going to come out on top? We're going to see there's level 6 now on the Dreadlord. Dreadlord desperately needs mana for an Infernal. Is he going to be able to get it? That is the question here. Trying to finish off some more units. Dreadlord going to instead use a Scroll of Town Portal and head back home. All right, heading back home. Rejuvenation should go down onto that... Ooh. Well, I would have thought Rejuvenation to go down onto the Dreadlord first, let all of those Moonwells have a little bit more mana capacity. Instead, Yumiko's just ready to go into the battle immediately. So these Moonwells are going to be pretty bare at the start of the day. We'll see if that comes back to haunt Yumiko. Yumiko does have a potion of mana onto that Dreadlord, and now perhaps going to drop an Infernal onto some of these units as we do see one Chimera out here on the battlefield. 450 range here as the Druids of the Cloud now venturing forward. All right, Moonwell. Pressure. Sock does have a good amount of Moonwell juice in these Moonwells. Going to try and engage here. Do we see a roar? We do see a roar plus 18 damage on that Dreadlord. More damage coming back across here as the Dreadlord trying to retreat back. Moonwells getting absolutely destroyed. Wisps are also in the battle here, so perhaps trying to get some detonations to remove rejuvenation and roar. All right, here's a handful of Wisp. Are we going to see a Carrion Swarm? There's a Carrion Swarm. There's an Infernal. There's a Stun. And that is a bunch of damage right there as the Dryad going to get cleaned up pretty quickly. All right. Wisp now making their way over. Are we going to perhaps see some detonations, mana burns across? This is just an entire major battle. Difficult to really see what's going on here. The Infernal, trying to retreat back. We're looking at Staff of Preservation saving that Chimera down to 82 hit points. The Dryad's going to try to make their way back over and, do a little bit of poking. The Chimera's finding their way through, taking down one Druid of the Claw, but one Chimera now down. Sock is trying to continue to retreat back here. Remember, the Infernal is magic immune. We're still looking at some damage here. There goes another one of Sock's and Yumiko's bears. So both sides trading bears consistently. 37 supply compared to 41. Sock lost so many Moonwells. He was supply blocked for a little bit of time. Units still fighting their way through. Dryad's taking down that last Chimera there. That is a big loss once more, as we're still looking at them ready to engage again. Demon Hunter, Staff of Preservation for the save. However, Naga Sea Witch, is it going to be able to get Staff of Preservation? There goes a Druid of the Claw getting taken out. And Yumiko has come back the other way and is now putting heavy pressure. Level 7 now on the Dreadlord. What? All right, an Infernal hired up from the mercenary camp, but that is not going to be long for this world. Meanwhile, Yumiko saves another low hit point, Druid of the Claw. My brain was trying to wrap around what was happening here for just a moment, as the Dreadlord has brought in, the Dreadlord with Vampiric Aura. Both sides, if they're fighting next to each other, the Dreadlord of Yumiko should win because it does have Vampiric Aura, so it is recovering quite a bit more damage here. All right, both sides continuing to fight again. Dreadlord pushing through once more. Are we going to see some more? There goes a Dryad trying to finish off some of those units. It looks as though that Infernal about to get taken down. One or two more shots. There's a, Staff of Preservation for the save, down to 45 hit points. But it does somehow end up staying alive, as Yumiko is still, dealing quite a bit of damage here. All right, Demon Hunter down to 97 hit points. It's looking to back away. Dreadlord doesn't have that much mana, gets mana burned instead. And Yumiko may be forced to try and retreat back here, as he just doesn't have enough gas or hit points on that Dreadlord to really keep him alive. What is this guy doing? This Dreadlord should get a rejuvenation. What is this Druid of the Claw waiting for? I guess a perfect time, or just procrastination right there. All right, Dreadlord looking to retreat back again. Dreadlord needs a bit more mana, but the Demon Hunter's level 3 mana burn not going to allow it. Level 3 Carrion Swarm, level 3 Vampiric Aura, and Dreadlord without any mana having some problems. There's some rejuvenation there. Perhaps he's going to try and buy, Staff of Teleportation. Gonna head home. Clarity Potion. Oh, there's a rejuvenation. There's all of those Moonwells being used once again. And, we knew that Nightfall, all of these Moonwells being dry, could have had an effect. He's made it to Nightfall again, so those Moonwells will be filling back up. Meanwhile, Sock, Sock does have all of these Moonwells. These are dry. They could get pressured. We're looking at some Chimeras here. 50 supply compared to 49. The Dryads are going to try and poke here, as the Infernal somehow stayed alive and is going to be able to stick around a little while longer. Now, gold mines, only a minute of mining left on each side. All right, Dreadlord is invisible. Gonna perhaps try and drop an Infernal down here onto all of these units. There's an Infernal, there's a stun, and there's the mana burn. Dreadlord finally out of mana, trying to use an Invul Potion. Demon Hunter, Staff of Preservation for the save. We saw that all inbound, all of that coming, but still, cooldown is incredibly important, as a Druid of the Claw getting taken out as well. Meanwhile, Dreadlord still relatively low on mana. We're looking at Yumiko's Infernal. It's about to get taken down. and it's quickly taken down there. So perhaps it should have stuck around in the battle just a little while longer. Dreadlord doesn't have that much mana. Demon Hunter may try and mana burn again. We're looking at the Infernal about to fall. Dreadlord needs just a little bit more mana to perhaps put some pressure down onto some of these other buildings, as the Dreadlord, I believe, got mana burned again. So yeah, so mana burn, just a constant story here, as the Dreadlord is sitting at, well, nearly level 8. Naga Sea Witch and Demon Hunter are sitting at level 5 though, so we've seen 2 level 5 heroes combat a level 7 hero in the past. Are we going to see, oh wow, that Druid of the Claw down to 6 hit points, and he somehow survives and retreats back home. Alright, Yumiko gonna perhaps run back home, get some rejuvenations across his army. But this is also going to give Sok a little bit of time. Sok is low on Moonwells though, so he's not benefiting from Nightfall nearly as much. You can see, well, 6 Moonwells, obviously better than the 3 that we have here. Collecting twice as much moon juice. Yumiko also walking this Tree of Eternity doesn't have Nature's Blessing, while Sok does. So that little bit of additional faster movement speed could be key. Walking distances are going to be a little bit harder. The Tree of Eternity needs to get, well, wants to break down this gate, so to speak. Is Yumiko's Tree of Eternity really going to go all the way off to the north, to the top right? That's quite a distance to go, especially with that very slow movement speed that he's currently traveling. 53 supply compared to 48. This could be Sok's opportunity to get back into this game, as Sok's Tree of Eternity is already going to be entangling this gold mine now. Yeah, I would not be surprised if this, well, okay, I said he was entangling the gold mine, but he's not. He doesn't actually see the gold mine because it's nightfall, doesn't have the upgraded vision, perhaps, and it can't actually entangle it. That's a little bit, well, a little bit of a misstep here. Needed to, I guess, root just that much closer. If Yumiko puts in the pressure right now, he may be able to take down this Tree of Eternity before the Tree of Eternity starts, or before this army makes its way over. Dual level 5 heroes, but what is Yumiko waiting for? Perhaps he doesn't know that the opportunity is ripe to try and clear this up. There you go, finally being able to entangle that gold mine. Needed to wait until daybreak, but that is a little bit of a lost opportunity here. All right, Wisp trying to make their way over. Tree of Eternity, 48 over 50 supply. Is the army going to be able to get back over there? Demon Hunter does not have a Scroll of Town Portal, and this whole entire attack here, does the Demon Hunter, well, I don't think he knows that this place is empty, and now the main bases are going to end up getting lost. All right. Tree of Eternity now lost here. We're looking at this Tree of Eternity still making its way off to the top right, and this could be a base race scenario. Yumiko trying to root these all back down. All of these Moonwells are full, but they're not going to be able to be used. These Ancients, well, they're on the move out, and they're going to be able to get away quickly enough just because, well, they have Nature's Blessing. Yumiko trying to entangle this gold mine here. 53 supply compared to 45. Moonwells being lost on both sides. And then it's going to come down to the Demon Hunter, perhaps with Mana Burn, to try and shut down that Dreadlord. Dreadlord does have Sleep, though, now. So with Sleep now available, what does that really mean? It means that the Dreadlord can shut down the Demon Hunter perhaps long enough to be actually able to use Carry On Swarm and also use summon that Infernal. All right, units trying to retreat back here. We're looking at Demon Hunter trying to fight back here. What is going to go down? All of these Wisps are now lost. The base race scenario, and where there's that Ancient of War now. We're looking at another Ancient of War about to get taken down here. There goes another one. 217 supply, or 217 gold left. There are a couple of Wisps all across the map. Druids of the Claw trying to finish off all of these altars. And this is turning into a base race scenario. 51 supply army compared to 41. This is the, well, where are the Wisps? They need to jump inside there, perhaps build up some Moonwells, and in order to rebuild and train up more units. All right. There's a Roar. Altar of Elders. This is going to get taken down. This Chimera Roost will also get taken down as well. Wisp jumping into that entangled gold mine. should get enough gold to start building up and training some or building some moonwells. And then once that's completed, well, we are in store for perhaps a rebound by Yumiko. Yumiko's slowly getting gold. Sok trying to put pressure in here. Sok does also have that Infernal. I don't know quite how this is a blue Infernal, but it is. Yumiko's Tree of Eternity down to 400 or 1400, 1300 hit points. Timing is going to be key here, and the Dreadlord also does not have any. Does not have a Scroll of Town Portal, so he's not going to be able to bounce back here. We do see one Moonwell down here, and that is it. Are we going to perhaps have Sok try and run its way back down? Hunter's Hall, Altar of Elders, those are still operational buildings, as this particular Moonwell, well, pretty much all that stands between the two armies right now. All right. Yumiko's Infernal trying to retreat away. We're looking at this Moonwell taken down. That is taken down. There is one more Ancient of Wonders being built by Sok off to the side here. They need to find that building and take it out completely. That is going to be the question. There is still 1700 hit points worth of buildings here, as the Dreadlord now going to try and take this down. Are there wisps all the way up? Oh, there's another Ancient of Wonders over there on the top right. All right, so one canceled, one rebuilt, and the units are just trying to get every which way separated. Yumiko, is he going to be able to save this, save that Dreadlord? That would be actually pretty hilarious right now, trying to save the Dreadlord. He's gonna, or that Druid of the Claw. He's able to rejuvenate. There's a sleep onto the Demon Hunter. Both sides are fighting. The Infernal about to get taken down. Slow poison causing some problems. Are we going to perhaps see a Carrion Swarm rip through? It could have taken out much more of that Druid of the Claw before it regenerated some hit points, as there's a Fork Lightning as well. All right, Dreadlord, is he going to try and sleep that Demon Hunter again? Dreadlord waiting perhaps for a good, well, Carrion Swarm right there. This would be, well, key. There goes one. There goes two bears. A third bear could get taken down, and that is going to be the game. Yumiko comes out victorious as, well, playing the game of space against the Demon Hunter, being able to sleep him so that the Demon Hunter couldn't easily remove all the mana off of the Dreadlord. Once that happened, that level 3 on Swarm slowly chipping away at the hit points allowed Yumiko to, well, come away with the victory. You can see more Druids of the Claw were about to get taken down. Well, another one here, and then the Dreadlord is still causing quite a bit of damage with that little aura damage overall. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below. Here are the final scores.